Welcome back, fam, for a very special interview today. We are partnering with NFTcom for this video. I want to be straightforward and honest with the community. That means this is a paid partnership. We have a special guest today, Mr. Jordan Freed from NFTcom. He's the founder, he's the CEO of Immutable Holdings, a Web3 venture studio. And welcome, my friend Jordan. It's good to have you here.
Yeah, Tom, thanks for having me, man. And I love the shades. I love the
Thank
shades.
you.
It's your moniker, man. Everyone recognizes you with the shades.
Well, they protect you from my laser eyes, so
Yeah,
I gotta
they
wear them.
do. They do. I got to get a pair, man. I mean, you got to let me know where I can get those.
Absolutely, I can do that, not a problem. Maybe I'll send you a pair, right?
I love it.
So, man, we got to talk about it. NFT.com. What a ridiculously crazy domain name. I want to learn about it. I think our viewers want to learn about it. Can you tell me your aim and your launch and what's going on with your project?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to love this domain name. I mean, the second I had the opportunity to buy it, I jumped at it. I didn't. It wasn't even that long ago. I closed on it at the end of. We agreed on the price at the end of 2020. Closed on it at the beginning of 2021. So if you follow the crypto life cycle, you'll understand that was just before the craziness of NFTs, right? We were still in like DeFi land, really
Yep.
obsessed with new staking pools. Then no one was really talking about, new PFP collections at that time. And then everything blew up, right? Eminem, Justin Bieber, everyone's buying NFTs, everyone's changing their profile picture to a Bored Ape. All the craziness happened. If you back up, I mean, you got crypto.com, you have blockchain.com, you have bitcoin.com, you have these amazing marquee domain names, right? These amazing marquee brands, all of them multi-billion dollar brands. Some of them, FTX.com and crypto.com, on the sides of stadiums for NBA teams, right? I got to thinking, this was always a domain name that was ours to fuck up, right? It was like you could, excuse the language. I don't know if I can swear on your
Oh,
show.
you're all good.
And I didn't want to fuck it up. I think I would have fucked it up in my 20s. I think I would have had too much of an ego. I would have put myself first. I would have thought, hey, I'm a know-it-all. I think our go-to-market and what we're doing with it will really interest your audience because it has removed us from the equation almost entirely. I'm the founder of NFT.com, but I'm not the CEO. We've opted for a DAO structure. We've opted for a structure that makes the users on the platform, the creators of the platform, they're the ones who are in control. And I think the big distinction I'd make between Web 2 and Web 3 is, you hear a lot of people talking about governance right now, Tom. Governance, governance, governance. And your audience may not give a shit about governance, but I'm going to give them a reason to give a shit about governance because this is for me like why governance matters. Governance is a fancy word, and I used to hate the word because it's just a fancy word that describes who has the legal controls and who has the technical controls required to make decisions in that platform or keep a platform stable. In the case of YouTube or Google or Facebook or Twitter, these platforms make unilateral, arbitrary decisions that change everything for everyone on the platform in the snap of a finger overnight. An algorithm change could demonetize 50% of YouTube creators and drop your income, Tom, by 50%, right? Now, you may not depend on AdSense revenue like Casey Neistat or Logan Paul or PewDiePie or some of the other creators, but everybody's in the same boat. There are people who depend on that for their income.
Mhm.
Why I think Web3 is so exciting is when that happened in YouTube land, when YouTube arbitrarily changed the algorithm and creators like you were affected and saw their income hit from it, there was no recourse. You could take up banners and go march in front of like the YouTube building in Los Angeles or go picket
Wasted
or
your
something.
time.
Yeah, wasting your time. You're not on the board of directors of Google or Alphabet. You don't have that kind of decision-making authority. And right, if PewDiePie doesn't have it, right, the little guy doesn't. And that's a flawed relationship between creator and platform or user and platform. Web3 enables us, and we're doing this with NFT.com, as our starting point, we wanted to rethink the relationship that a creator and a user has with the platforms that they interact with. What if you could be in control? What if you could have governance rights and make decisions? And again, for those listening that also don't give a shit about governance, it doesn't matter. You don't have to give a shit. But when something goes wrong, when some sociopathic 30-year-old billionaire decides to deplatform sitting presidents and prime ministers and, takes control, you want to have a voice. You want to be able to be in control. So the way we're doing that practically, anyone can come to NFT.com and own a piece of it. NFT.com/Tom Crown, NFT.com/sick TA shades, right? NFT.com/whatever you want it to be. That's what it can be. And you can mint that. You own that as an NFT. It sits in a wallet, probably your MetaMask or Wallet Connect or Fortmatic wallet. That's how you log in. That is your login credential to access your profile. If you're a collector, it's your gallery. If you're a creator, it's the storefront where you'll display all the NFTs. And let's just recognize, if you actually just look at not arbitrary, if you look at the data, the real data in NFTs today, there's something like 100,000 or so daily active users. It's a small market. Talking about NFTs in 2022 is like talking about layer one protocols that weren't Ethereum in 2016 and 2017, right? They just like didn't exist. And the ones that existed had no users. We're talking like 10, 20, 30,000 users. I was part of the founding team of one of them. I know founding team of Hedera Hashgraph. So it took us a long time to build up HBAR and to kind of get that kind of traction in the market. So yeah, that's a long-winded way of me communicating the vision. But yeah, Tom, the question I'd leave you with is, wouldn't it be so cool if we had NFT.com as a platform for creators by creators, run by a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization that could get that logo on the side of a stadium? It wouldn't be Jordan Freed who made that decision. It would be all of us collectively together. And then we could party with those sunglasses on and go to a rave and rock out.
It's definitely an exciting premise. As a creator, you are at the whim of your overlords, and that'd be YouTube right now, and it's uncomfortable. It's not a feeling of security to know that I have no
Does
control
it
over the
piss you
platform.
off? I know you're interviewing me, but does it piss you off? Does it like just piss you off that like YouTube did that? I mean, you've been on YouTube for a little while now,
Well,
right?
no, YouTube, I love you. You're the best, and I would never talk badly about. I don't feel completely comfortable as a creator, of course, on any platform that can just decide, I'm not part of their platform anymore or something. I think it's really specific to crypto creators, but it affects everyone, every single
Yeah,
person on YouTube. I'm in creator groups and there's uncertainty,
yeah,
maybe the algorithm just doesn't like you anymore. And what are you going to do? You're right. Nothing. There's nothing we can do in recourse. And it's really just try to play by the rules really tightly
yeah.
and pray. Keep the fingers crossed.
There is a better way. If you're,
There's a better way.
I think what gets me so fired up, people are like, "Yo, you have too much energy." I actually quit coffee. I stopped drinking coffee because I'll probably like die from coffee. I'm already an energetic person.
It's good for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I really believe that we've got a war, a turf war, a street war. It's like a knife fight happening right now in the streets for control over this new what this Web3 thing is going to be. All the major tech giants are looking at it. Jack Dorsey's leaving Twitter to focus his time on it, right? You've got Elon tweeting about it, mostly funny tweets, but he's thinking about it and at an increasing pace. Google's thinking about it. Facebook's thinking about it with the name change to Meta. It's a fight for who's going to control. And we're not in Web 3 yet, right? We're like in Web 2.5
Mhm.
or Web 2.25. We're on our way to Web 3. Web 3 is a bunch of aspirational concepts. We have the technology, but the technology is dial-up, and what we need is high speed, right? The Ethereum network processes largely text-based messages. It's not like you're running full-blown MMORPGs, massive multiplayer online role-playing games on top of the platform, right? It's like,
I get it.
so as the user experience will improve, I just think it's so important that we architect it right from the get-go. I've got this ideology that drives a lot of what I do, which is I think the internet in its current form is flawed. I think we can re-architect it and make it better. And it would be amazing if Zuck didn't win Web3. It'd be amazing
Yeah.
if we weren't taxed at 47% for every NFT we bought. I think it's going to be really important to have user controlled, creator controlled platforms. So Call me an idealist, but I think there'll be something better than YouTube that'll come along. So love you, YouTube. I don't
Yeah,
want to
love
get
you, love you. We love
I don't
you.
want to get Tom. I don't want to get Tom in trouble. It's not Tom saying this, it's me saying this. So don't hate him.
Awesome. So you have, what is this? Like the Genesis keys launching. And so how does this fit into Web3? How are we going to see this in action and
Yeah.
when?
Yeah. To understand a Genesis key, it's not that complicated of a concept. You have to launch NFT.com, much like you had to launch Gmail, much like you had to launch Clubhouse, much like you had to launch like Twitter back in the day, right? Or, any Web1, Web2 platform. The typical way to do that is like you get your beta testers, you get your test bed. For Facebook, it was, hey, everyone with a harvard.edu email address can use this, right? And then a yale.edu and a princeton.edu, and only the Ivy kids got
Mhm.
into Facebook first. And then they opened up to non-Ivies, remember? And then like high
Oh
school
yeah,
students were
I
on.
joined
Yeah, and then our parents joined. It was like, oh crap,
and then we left.
mom's on here, and then we left. Yeah, exactly. So that was how they rolled out. Clubhouse rolled out in a different way, where their earliest users became the product evangelist with referral codes.
Mm.
Every one of the early users got to refer five, and then their five got to refer five, and it grew like Herbalife, like a multi-level marketing scheme where like everyone's pitching it and promoting it. And now we all use Twitter Spaces anyway. So, but
That was a flash burn, wasn't it? That
yeah,
really, I
well,
remember I was like, I want an invite. And then like a week later, it was over.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like it, yeah, it was a jack of a feature, but to you have to think deeply about how you start a platform. Where do you get your earliest users? And I think in Web3, it's really all about community. It's about ideologically driven communities that share the same values and share the same core tenets. So our community right now is largely filled with people. I'm incredibly grateful to say today we should pass 40,000 people in our Discord. Um, probably similar numbers on Twitter today, and just our mailing list is 100,000 plus people large now, of people who love the idea of a creator-owned, creator-controlled platform where it's not Jordan making the decisions. Yeah, I'm the founder. Yeah, I'm the evangelist. I'm definitely the loudest guy on the platform. But wouldn't it be really cool if like our community members were giving these interviews and it wasn't just me and it was everyone else talking about it? That's kind of Bitcoin, right?
Mm.
Bitcoin is Bitcoin not because Satoshi's on Tom Crown's channel. It's because, you know, Pompliano and Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss and Roger Ver back in the day before he forked it and made Bitcoin Cash, and Nick Szabo and all the OGs, right? The original guys who came into the space who really promoted it. Bitcoin's got a net promoter score off the charts, like right after maybe like veganism and CrossFit, or maybe bigger than veganism and CrossFit.
CrossFit.
Anyone who tries Bitcoin doesn't shut up about Bitcoin. They just talk
Yep.
about it. Um, and I
Guilty.
think that's incredible. So how do you create that in Web3? How do you create that with a Web3 platform? And we got to thinking, I think the way you launch a Web3 platform is with an NFT. And I think that NFT gives you access, membership to, for us, become a co-founder of NFT.com, a co-founder of the NFT.com community. That is what a Genesis key is. It's like as if everyone that had a harvard.edu email address and joined Facebook back when Zucks launched it's as if they had a seat on the board of directors of Facebook as well, right? They didn't just get the best handles, facebook.com/Mark or facebook.com/whatever. It's like they literally have a seat on the board of directors. That is what we are doing. We're allowing these Genesis key holders to not just govern and make decisions for the platform, but actually log in for the first time. They're the first to create their NFT.com/Tom or NFT.com/ whatever their brand is. They're the first to try out new feature sets. They're the ones who get to vote. Do we start supporting Solana NFTs, or do we support Hedera Hashgraph NFTs, or do we support Polkadot or Algorand or Avalanche or Polygon or Cardano? Dare I say Cardano, right? Like, what do we support, right? It's like, I shouldn't make those decisions. I'm biased, right? I've got everyone knows I come from the Hedera world, but maybe you listening don't like Hedera. And maybe you want Polygon. It should not be my choice. It should be the community's choice. So I think we're going to get evolutionary platforms. That's where we came up with these Genesis keys. Here's what's crazy. There's only 10,000 Genesis keys. I'll be the first to admit that number's arbitrary, but it's a hat tip to the apes and the crypto
Mm.
punks and the doodles and these crazy collections that have become before us. The 10,000 number works for a couple of
Mm,
reasons. One, in a community of 10,000, you could still make a lot of noise and rally a constituency, a group of people within that 10,000 to rally behind a cause. It's not too big that it disincentivizes participation. It just is, it's the right number for a micro community. So what if you had this micro community? If you want to be part of it, great. If you get bored later and you no longer be part of it, you sell that Genesis key as an NFT. It's yours to sell. You no longer, your seat on the board is gone, but someone else has it who's another interested party. I think that if this platform goes the way we think it will go, those Genesis keys will be in high demand from people who really give a shit or who really depend on NFT.com for income, for creators who really care what the fee in the marketplace is, or who really care what protocols are supported, or who really care what the rules of the platform are, right? It's kind of like a bunch of YouTubers, 10,000 YouTubers who have decision making control on YouTube. I think that's kind of dope. I think that would like drastically change the way the internet works. So that's what a Genesis key is. We're dropping these things in 2 or 3 days. So I've got that nervous, excited feeling that I've had every single time I release a product because it's a vulnerable moment. I imagine like it's the same feeling a DJ has before dropping a new beat or a new performance, or like an artist before unveiling like a canvas at a gallery. It's like, oh shit, is it just going to be my mom and me, or is it going to be like other people as well who like this?
yeah,
um
mom
it-
will show up. She'll
my
show up.
mom
She'll
always my mom always shows up. Shout out to
Oh,
my mom who's always
shout out
showed
to
up.
moms. Just
Yeah.
moms generally. You
Just
guys rock.
moms in general. Oh, Mother's Day's coming up. We gotta put that in the
Got to get
calendar.
her a key. Got to get her
Yeah,
a
got it.
key.
I'm gonna get her a yeah, fuck flowers.
NFT.com/mom.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good
Oh,
one.
I have
Yeah.
a question,
Yeah.
kind of follow up on the keys. So you talked about a DAO model. How does the key fit into the DAO model, or is that separate, or is that tokenized? Like how, or is that not yet totally laid out?
Yeah, so the full governance plan, unfortunately, Tom, because we are in the United States of America, and I don't want to say anything bad about our government, but
Mhm.
I will say that our regulators are progressive and are learning quick, but aren't fully up to speed on what NFTs are. They're still just figuring out DeFi.
Mhm.
So as they start to look at these NFTs, it's super, super, super important that I don't say exactly what a Genesis key will do or what comes with a Genesis key, because you don't want to make any future
Understood.
promises. You don't want to make any
Mhm.
future promises because then the Genesis key and NFT could be a
Yep.
security. If
Yeah.
they drop the board apes and they're like, yo, these board apes, you're going to be able to license this and make money with this and get airdrops with this and get swag with this. That is a security. You just
Yep.
purchase a security. Yuga Labs and everyone behind it's getting in trouble.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay, fair enough.
yeah. So, but what I can say is that Genesis key is part of governance. It'll be part of who can govern. And
Mhm.
that Genesis key holder gives you an elevated status in the community that no one else will have. It's like the blue check mark on Twitter, but as if only there will ever be 10,000 of those. It is a forever thing that you could have or not have and sell it, and it's yours, as are your profiles. I'll say that, by the way, too. You can get in a lot of trouble for selling a Twitter profile. It happens all the time. The black market for vanity Twitter
Oh yeah.
URLs or Instagram or TikTok URLs is craziness. People offer me, vanity, like, / blockchain or / whatever on Instagram. That is against, it's not illegal by like US law, but it's a violation of Twitter law. It's a violation of Google law. You check the box when you sign up that you won't do that in the terms of service. We encourage it. We're opposite. We're like, hey, do that. That's a proud activity here. Censorship free. Just go out there and buy these things if you want, speculate on them and sell them if you if you want, or build on them, right? It's yours. It's not my business to tell you what to do with it.
Yeah, that speaks to the difference of kind of the Web 2 to Web 3 aim. Is the Web 2 is you're not allowed to do anything. You have this hand, you can't do anything with it. And then
Yeah.
Web 3, I think, is really hoping, well, as long as Zuck doesn't get it, really hoping to be the opposite of these are kind of, they're not community, but they're interchangeable, they're transferable, less behind the doors, I guess, as the Web 2.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's going to make all the difference. I really see what's happening now. Let's just like Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin Genesis block, Chancellor and brink of second bailout, January 3rd, 2009. You go back to that point, like what was happening in the world? We're talking about a bunch of financial institutions that took us to the brink of a financial Armageddon, getting bailed out, and a bunch of pissed off people on the internet saying, Viva la revolucion, power to the people. A commodity or a currency or a store of value that's native to the internet that you can't print more of and bail out a bunch of banks. What an unbelievable concept that has changed my lifetime. I know it's changed yours and has changed literally everything around us, and will likely go down in, like, human history as, you know, as impactful as like the printing press, or as impactful as, like, your previous industrial or technical revolutions, the personal
Agreed.
computer. It's just a fundamental breakthrough. And if you look at what's happening now with this technology, we've gone through, okay, censorship free money is amazing. I can send money to the opposite side of the globe without using the Red Cross, without using PayPal, without using, Venmo or Cash App or a bank or Visa or MasterCard. So no one can tell me what to do 24/7, 365, access to my money. It's my keys, it's my money. Amazing. I think everyone kind of like gets that. If you don't get that, like, you got to go understand V1 of blockchain before you can understand like V3 of like blockchain, this new wave of it. And I think that is censorship-free applications, applications without intermediaries, right? We don't need Zucks anymore to help us hang out with our high school friends, right? I don't need to like I don't need Zucks to like show me my old high school girlfriends and give me like dopamine hits and try to get me to like message old people. We can decide who we want to communicate with. We can decide who we want to give our data to. We can decide how we monetize that data and how we get everyone involved. And that's going to lead to a much better relationship with creators and users and the platforms that they interact with. It's a totally it's it's different. But if you look at web 2, I think we'll look back on this and like our kids will be like, what do you mean you checked a box and gave Google everything about yourself,
Everything.
right?
Your soul.
Everything. You
Your
just gave
soul.
them your soul. Like, what do you mean you did that? I think they're going to be like, that's foolish, just like they look
For
at like,
free. For
yeah,
free. You did it
but
willingly for free.
yeah, exactly.
Why?
But just like they look at I heard that after Gen Z, we go to like Gen Alpha,
Ooh.
right? Is that I gotta confirm that. I think it's like
Oh.
Generation Alpha. So like this new generation being born right now. I'm talking like a newborn born right
Mhm.
now. I don't know what you call that, but I think it's Gen Alpha. Don't hold me to that. I'm gonna do some research. I think
We'll
it's Gen
fact
Alpha.
check it, but that sounds
Yeah,
good.
but
Sounds believable.
this new generation being born right now, they'll laugh at the fact that we use pennies and nickels and dimes,
Yeah, oh,
right?
yeah.
So they'll also laugh at like how we were so cavalier about like who we just gave our data to, because data is the oil of the digital economy. So, um, yeah, I think we're headed in the right direction. But this is going to be led by startups, right? Not
Mhm.
too long ago, Zuck was in a dorm room building this up. There are people in dorm rooms right now solving these problems. I'm here, cooped up in Puerto Rico, trying to solve these problems. So, yeah, I'm excited about this Web3 thing, man. I think we can definitely do better.
Absolutely. I think I've been long a proponent of, Bitcoin and
Mhm.
blockchain. People are always saying, is it a currency? Is it a store of value? And I've pretty much for years now preached, we don't maybe even have the terms for what it is. We might not even know how this fits into the future, its potential uses and problems it can solve. And it's good to see it expanding in different facets here. And I think Web3 is, like you said, it's kind of the future coming. It it's still taking shape, and I see that similarly to the whole space. It's still taking shape, and what it really is going to be is maybe yet to be seen.
Yeah, and let's just kind of like talk about where NFTs come into this, right? Because I know you talk a
Mhm.
lot about crypto. I know you do a lot of technical analysis on crypto and where the
Yes,
market's going and everything that's going on. But I think the best way to conceptualize crypto and Bitcoin today is Bitcoin really forms the internet of money, right? It's the continuation of like the age old thinking, which is, or at least a decade old or a couple decade old thinking, which is software is going to eat the world. And it has. It's disrupted every aspect of our lives. Software has disrupted how we order groceries, how we order taxi cabs, how we communicate with each other.
absolutely.
That's amazing. Crypto is best defined as the softwareization of money, and the trend's not stopping. We created programmatic money, money that can be locked up with smart contracts, money that can be atomically swapped, money, programmatic money. It's unbelievable money native to the internet, money native to this blockchain thing. The way to think about NFTs is really the internet of value. It's the internet of everything else.
I
I would
like that. The
tell
internet of money. I like
Yes,
that
yes,
definition.
yes. So the the way I think about where we're moving from the internet money. So now we have all this money on the blockchain, close to $2 trillion of this money on the blockchain. We What other value is going to be on the blockchain? So we're seeing it start to manifest in the form of, well, hey, own a piece of land in a game that you play.
Mm.
Or hey, take a sword or a shield or a character in that game and be able to sell it outside of that game. Fun fact, I mean, I think a lot of people have heard this story who follow me, but if you haven't and you have no idea who I am, I think you'll find it hilarious that I got in trouble for RWT, real world trading, in RuneScape when I was 12 years old. In fact, I created one of the largest secondary markets around RuneScape gold points and got in a lot of trouble, but that's probably a story for another day. Now it's encouraged. Now you can play Decentraland and have mana and take your mana and sell it for USDC and take it to another game, right? And that's incredible, right? Liquidity from something you spend so much time doing in a game. So we've got this digital value. We've got these digital property rights. Now we have these bored apes, these pictures of things, but I own an ape and someone else owns a different ape. And I can prove that I'm the only one that owns this ape. You can go right click, save it, but you'll never have the token that represents it, which is where my value comes from. So now we're starting to assign value. Where I think this opportunity goes is I'll say an important thing on this. One, how we're using NFTs today is not how we're going to be using them in 10 years.
Absolutely.
Two, if you're listening to this and you're lucky enough to be alive in 10 years, you're going to own an NFT. You are going to literally save this video right now, come back and watch this on April 24th of 2032. And I promise you, you are going to own an NFT. You are, right? And someone tweet at me when you're like, holy shit, Jordan was right about that, because that is what's going to happen. Everything of value in the physical world is going to be represented on a blockchain in the form of a token, in the form of a smart contract, in the form of a little application that runs and that can be executable. It's just a more efficient way for us to transact. So now we've gotten really used to sending Bitcoin back and forth from one account to another, but now we need to like settle transactions like, hey, I want to buy an apartment. And that apartment is going to be tokenized, at least the title deed of it will be tokenized in the form of an NFT. And we can use a smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain or the Solana blockchain or the Hedera Hashgraph blockchain, any of these smart contract blockchains, and swap those two things. I can put USDC in the contract. You can put the NFT for the title deed and we can swap them. We don't need an escrow agent. We don't need to pay 3% to someone else out there anymore, right? We can solve it right there. The authenticity certificate of a Rolex will be on the blockchain. Your birth certificate in the future is going to be on a blockchain. Your diploma to the fancy school that you go to. I'm just sour because I don't have one of those things. But hey, maybe someone will give me an honorary.
You can have mine. You can have mine. I don't even need it.
I appreciate that. Could you send it to my mom back to
I
mom's?
will on the blockchain though only.
I love it. I love it. At her NFT.com/mom handle. You can just put it right there in her gallery. So I think it's important to understand these trends. It's important to understand like crypto is not going anywhere. It's going to be part of your life for the rest of your life. NFTs aren't going anywhere. Crypto is the internet of money. NFTs the internet of value, the internet of everything else that isn't technically money but is still valuable. So we need both. We need ways to transact in both. And it's so stupidly exciting. The last thing I'd say about NFTs, because the trend isn't reversing, we as humans are going to continue to spend an increasing amount of our lives connected to each other online. It is already ridiculous how much, if you just look at the objective data from 20 years ago, how much time we spend looking at screens. I've got these ridiculous blue blockers right now, by the way, that help me block out the blue light. But I look, hey, are those blue blockers as well?
Yeah, they're polarized.
Yeah,
They work.
mine aren't as cool as you, but hey, it like protects me from the light. So sometimes I keep these on, just not during interviews. But as we stare at these screens, as we start to spend more and more of our time here, we need ways to assign value. Okay, Jordan, you played RuneScape this much. That RuneScape gold point's a token. Hey, that sword you just won, that's a token. Hey, that shirt you're wearing while you're walking down the street in the metaverse, that's a token, right? And you're going to go shopping and dress up your avatar. You'll likely go shopping online with your avatar, which has similar body proportions to your real life avatar. Go try on clothes. By the way, the store that I got these on, you can literally do this. They will literally show you what they look like on your face, and then you order them. That is how we're going to shop in the future. You may buy the physical version and the NFT version, because what we wear on a day-to-day basis, that makes a statement on us, just like what our avatars wear when we're walking down virtual Madison, Madison Avenue, or, Park Avenue in virtual metaverse land. So understand the technology. I know it's newer. I know it can be intimidating. If you like anything I'm saying, go to NFT.com. Check us out, get a Genesis key, join the community. If you also don't like what I'm saying, you think I'm a whack and I don't make any sense and you hate my ideas, also get a Genesis key, join our DAO, and tell me that, and help make NFT.com different and leave your imprint on it. I think what's so cool about these communities is we're not all going to agree. We're not all going to have the same ideas. We need diverse perspectives, right? It can't just be a Jordan dominated community. We need others. And yeah, I'm excited. Although I do think I'm right directionally.
Well, that's the old way, right? Zuck controls everything and we all follow, and we're paving this new path to the decentralized world. I love so much of what you said here. I'm not even sure if we talked that much about NFT.com. We talked about
I don't want to seem like I'm
ideas.
just shilling a project on your channel. I have a lot of respect for the content that you put out for your community. So I think the ideas form the product. The vision forms the product, right? I didn't buy my first iPhone because I'm like, hey, I need a computer in my pocket. I bought it because I was like, hey, think different. Here's to the crazy ones, right? The rebels, the round pegs in the square hole. I was like, Apple stood for something, right? And to some extent still does, right? I'm also probably just too much of an Apple fanboy.
No, I agree. I'm not a big Apple fanboy. I have an iPhone, but it's weird to say it's 2022 and Apple has safeguarded my privacy more than my other electronics. So shout out to Apple as well, I guess. Yeah, right. It is all about the vision, and I think that's the right approach here as well. We have some very analytical viewers, and I think everything you said we can all agree with on some level or not, but I think for the most part, and I'm curious to see how NFT.com turns out. I'm excited for your launch.
I appreciate it. And I hope to be back on, but I hope to be back on in the future. And then we can do some TA on NFT trading and NFT metrics, because I've got some amazing NFT metrics I'd love to share. But like, if you look at where we are, the new user numbers, so net new numbers, are about 6,000 to 8,000 new accounts per day coming to the space. Total, it's about 100,000 daily active users in the NFT space. And that should just give you an idea of how early we are. Almost no one in crypto has bought an NFT yet when compared to like the total crypto size of the market. And thus, because crypto is only a couple 100 million people globally, very few people even globally have NFTs. So yes, it's early. Think about where we're going to be. This is kind of like the ERC20 token. Like, remember all those ICOs in 2016? Just think about where we're going to be in, 5, 10 years in NFTs, or even 2, 3 years, right? By the time of the next halvening in Bitcoin, I think that, I really hope that NFT.com, I have a chip on my shoulder, you can probably tell, but I really hope NFT.com is up there with crypto.com, and we can, we'll be one of the bigger ones.
I can see it. I love it. It's just crazy. We didn't rehearse any of this, and like, we have so many similar ideas. I didn't expect that. Like the future, I've even said I'm not the biggest NFT guy, but the NFTs aren't going anywhere. They're only going to get bigger. We're only going to find more ways to use them and more logical incorporations. And yeah, I'm definitely surprised we'll have to have you back, Jordan. We'll do some NFT TA.
Yes, NFT TA. I would love to see that on the Tom Crown show. All right, man. You got a voice. This guy's got a voice for radio. I love it. You got a new subscriber in me. So send me this video. So if no one else watches it, at least my mom can watch it. Shout out to mom again.
I'll send it to my mom too. Well, Jordan, thanks for coming on, man. If there's anything else you want to add, feel free.
Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. Right on, brother.